Hey everybody, it's time for more Learning with Little Tweet. So it is Friday, May 15th, and we're working on day 33 lessons. It's time for math. Now, I have to say, so we've been learning about two-dimensional shapes, three-dimensional shapes, and we're continuing to learn about three-dimensional shapes today, which remember is also called solid shapes or 3D shapes. But I have to say, I'm having a little bit of trouble with the lesson, so I might change it up a bit. I'm not sure yet. But here's what you need in case we do the lesson. Let's see. So we're going to get this paper that says day 33, right? And then this is our exit ticket right here. It says day 33 at the top. I guess. I don't remember doing day 32. I think we missed that by mistake. Well, I think we missed that by mistake, but here we could maybe even do both. Okay, guys, that's all you need. Oh, pencil, of course. Go ahead and pause the video and get your materials. All right, guys, so let's take a look at our lesson. It says the faces or flat surfaces of 3D shapes are made of 2D shapes we know. And you guys have already noticed that. Like, for example, a cube is made out of a bunch of squares. So the faces of the cube are 2D shapes and they are squares. Let's see. Complete the solve and share task for day 33. So here is your solve and share task. Can you guys hear Avery screaming downstairs? Oh my goodness. We have a lot of energy we need to get out today. All right, so here we go. It says, look at the solid figures. Now again, these are just drawings of solid figures, and sometimes it makes them look flat, like they're two-dimensional, but these are supposed to be all 3D or solid shapes. Circle each solid figure that has a flat circle part. So if it has a face, that is a circle, a flat circle, then you're going to circle it. Mark an X on the solid figures that do not have a flat circle part. So anything here that has a flat circle face, you'll circle. And then anything that does not have a flat circle face, you will put an X on. So let's go ahead. That's a little bit of a challenge because you have to really think about what these shapes would look like in real life. Why don't you go ahead and pause the video and complete that task, and then we'll check the answers together. All right, guys, so here's what I came up with. Now, if your answers look a little bit different, that's okay, because some of this is pretty challenging and we have to really think it through. And so for some of you, 3D shapes is brand new learning, so it's going to take you a little time to become 3D shape experts. So let's talk through all of these answers. So I feel like this is maybe the hardest one. So this is actually supposed to be a cone, and you cannot see the circular flat face in this picture, but if I know that that's a cone, I know that cones have a circle on the bottom. So I wonder if any of you got that one. That's really, really hard. So I circled the cone because cones have a flat circle on them. Now, the rest of these are all cylinders and they all have flat circles. This one was hard for me to tell, but the only shape I could think of is that that's probably a cylinder. Oh my goodness. Seriously, can you guys hear Avery? She's a loud child. Woof. Okay. Okay. So these are all cylinders, and we know that cylinders actually have two flat circles on them, even if we can only see one in the picture. Now let's take a look at the rest of these. Now I crossed them out, so it's kind of hard to see. These two are spheres, and I wonder if that tricked any of you guys. So spheres are round, and sometimes, especially when they're drawn, they look like circles. I can't even find my sphere. Honestly, you guys, I think my sphere finally escaped. Like, I think it rolled away and escaped. I can't even find it. But spheres are round, and when they're drawn, they look like circles, but we know that there are not any flat faces on them. And these directions specifically say, circle each solid figure that has a flat circle part. And spheres don't have any flat parts at all. They're round all the way around. So those spheres we crossed out. Now it looks like these two are cubes, and cubes are all made up of squares, so that doesn't have any circles. And then this one, does anyone remember the name of that shape? That shape is a pyramid. We can tell because it has the triangles on the sides, and pyramids have a square at the bottom, right? Not a circle. So I wonder if you guys got some of those correct. It's okay if you didn't get them all correct. It was just to let you guys kind of think about those shapes and explore them a little bit. Okay, let's take a look at the next part of our lesson. It says, find examples of solid 3D shapes inside your home. Place them in a bag. Pull a solid 3D shape out of the bag. Say the 2D flat shapes you see to a family member. Then compare the 2D shapes you see to the 3D solid. Repeat. Okay, this is where I have a couple issues. So first of all, I know that for some of you, it's really been challenging to find 3D shapes in your home. I think the easiest ones to find, whoops, sorry about that. The easiest ones to find are cylinder and sphere. Like if you have any sort of can, or toilet paper even is shaped like a cylinder. And if you have any sort of ball in your house, that's usually shaped like a sphere. But cubes can be a little tricky because my ice cubes, for example, are not actually shaped like cubes. Maybe you have like a tissue box that's shaped like a cube. Like some of them are rectangular prisms, some of them are like cubes. Or maybe you have, I don't know, a Rubik's Cube. But some of you might not have any cubes in your house. And definitely cones can be a little bit tricky. So if you feel like you can find these shapes in your house, we're really focusing on these three and then the sphere that escaped. Honestly, I'm going to have to find it. But we're focusing on these three shapes plus a sphere. If you think you can find good examples of these shapes in your house, then you can play the game like the directions say. But since I think it's kind of tricky for some of you, let's just do it together, okay? And we'll skip the sphere since I can't find it. So what it wants us to do is put these in a bag. I think I'm not going to do that. We're just going to pick a shape, pull it out, and talk about the flat 2D shapes that we see. And then we're going to fill out this chart right here. So it's on the same page of the little solve and share we just did. We're going to do this chart together, okay? We might not do the whole thing, but we'll do part of it. All right. So let's do the cylinder. Example of 3D shape. So you can either write cylinder or let's try to draw a cylinder. Well, I don't know. Let's just write cylinder. How about that? Cylinder. So you can go ahead. Well, actually, wait until I'm done with this part and then I'll pause it and you can copy it. So the 3D shape we see is a cylinder. 2D shapes I see. So what 2D shapes do you see on the cylinder? Circles, right? I'm just going to write 2 circles. Whoa. All right, let's pause the video. You guys can go ahead and pause the video and copy this on your paper. Cylinder, 2 circles. Go ahead and pause. All right, you guys got it? So this part over here, I don't like, and it's a little tricky for me to understand exactly what they want us to do. I'm having a hard time making an X, but we're going to skip that and we're going to skip this, okay? All right, let's now pick a cube. So I'm going to write the word cube. That's the 3D shape. Now, what 2D shapes do we see on the cube? What's that shape? Square, right? Do you remember how many squares are on a cube? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the one underneath, 6. So I'm going to write 6 squares. Okay, you guys can pause the video and fill out that part of the chart. Okay, guys, let's do our exit ticket, and then I'm going to have a little challenge for you. And now that I look at this again, I do remember doing this. So we did not miss day 32. I remember that. Okay, so let's take a look at day 33. And it says, what is the same about these shapes? What is different between these shapes? So why don't you think about that, and then you can whisper it a little tweet. What is the same about these shapes? Go ahead and whisper it a little tweet. Awesome thinking. So you saw that both of these shapes have squares, right? What is different between these shapes? Go ahead and whisper it a little tweet. So this is a flat shape and this is a solid shape, or you could say this is a 2D shape and this is a 3D shape. All right, excellent. Okay, guys, here's my challenge for you. And I think for some of you, this might be really, really cool. Okay, so we are going to watch a little video about how to draw 3D shapes. I know that that can be a big challenge. So if you're interested in doing this, go ahead and get yourself a plain piece of paper and a pencil. All right, now you might have to pause the video or re-watch the video. This is just going to show you how they draw these 3D shapes, but remember, it's going to take a lot of practice and you might have to try a couple times. This is not required at all, guys. This is just a little extension if you guys are interested in learning something new. I think drawing 3D shapes is pretty cool. And like I said, the only one I know how to draw is a cube and actually a cylinder I can draw. I can draw those too, but I've never tried to draw others. All right, let's see what it has us do. Okay, so we're going to do a pyramid first. So they go diagonal line up, diagonal line down, like you guys are drawing a triangle. So start with a triangle. That makes sense. Gonna diagonal line down. I'm gonna pause it. Oh, that did not work. I'll pause it for a minute. All right, so now they're doing these like dotted lines that they're kind of like, they look like a road. So they go up a little bit and then to the side. So they're showing the square on the bottom. Oh, super cool. That looks like a pyramid, doesn't it? Cube. So you start with a square. And do three diagonal lines and connect them with straight lines. Now they're going to do some road lines or dashes. Here we go. This is pretty tough. I'd be really curious to see if some of you all can figure this out. So there's a cube. All right, I think we'll just do cylinder and then maybe we'll skip the rest. So for a cylinder, you start with an oval. Line down, curve at the bottom, and then your little road line. Cool. All right, guys, that was pretty awesome. If you want to practice that and challenge yourselves, that's a really good thing to do. If that seemed like maybe a little bit hard for you and that's not something you're interested in trying, maybe my challenge for you will be a little bit different. So here's my challenge for those of you who don't want to practice drawing the 3D shapes. Why don't you guys pick a new spot that you haven't done a shape hunt in yet, like maybe you haven't done one outside yet, and see if you can find some of the 3D shapes, like a cylinder, a cube, a cone, and then that rascally sphere that keeps running away. So that's another idea for a challenge, is just to go on a little shape hunt in a new spot where you haven't done it before. Okay, guys, that's it. We're done with math. See you guys later.